What's good? What's good? What's good? If you missed sports last week, don't worry. I got you. You're funny. Oh, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, Niners! All the talking heads that was like, the Lakers dead in the water. Listen, just shut up. Stop talking. If it fell in their lap, it fell in their lap, but they didn't chase it. Bam Adebayo chased it, and it looked disgusting. And the only team that picked the Patriots to win are people that were Patriots fans or people that just want to be antagonists just so that way they can drive any kind of traffic to their content. Welcome back to Just Your Average Podcast. This is episode 3. If you've been here since the jump, I see you. We're building something real here. It's Wednesday morning, early. You already know. The bag's part of the process. Y'all already know. Like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Do it for me while I'm talking, guys. I'll wait for you. Here's what we got up today, all right? NBA. Philly comes back from 3-1, defeats the Celtics, and my final prediction is pretty much busted. Last night, Detroit beat Cleveland, and OKC handled my Lakers. Full breakdown from the games last night as well. Wembanyama, he broke a playoff record on Monday, still lost. NHL, 2 teams still undefeated in the playoffs. Colorado, Carolina. We got to talk about that. 6-0 each. I'm talking smoking. MLB, the best pitcher, going under the knife. Big money on the line. Yes, sir. NFL, Houston Texans and my 49ers. Plus, we got some other news. Both worth your time. And tennis. I made some calls last week. Let's see how those held up. You didn't watch. Don't worry. I got you. Let's get into it. All right, NBA playoffs. The Celtics are out. Philly did it, baby. They were down 3-1. I can't say I saw this coming, but to be honest, like I told you, that was the Embiid that everybody was afraid to see. And also, Boston, the last time they won a championship, they were big. They had Lou Kennett, Al Horford, and Porzingis. And now all they got is Kata? Yeah, they were never holding down Embiid. Yeah, they weren't doing that. In Game 7, Philly won 109-100, and Embiid dropped 34 big points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Maxey threw on 30 points, and he really finished the game. Fourth quarter, he took over. Tatum was out with a knee, left knee this time. And look, Philly was dominating. They were up at 18 points. Boston brought it all the way back within 1, and 3-point, 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 break. Kept shooting threes, couldn't make nothing. Get out of here. Boston's identity is the 3-point ball. They are like dominant when they shoot well from 3. 38-5 to be exact. And then 18-21 when they don't. No Tatum, no 3-pointers. See you later, Boston. On to the next one. Were you surprised that Philly came back from 3-1? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. But before anything else, I got to own some stuff, okay? I said Boston versus Denver in the finals, and I said I was sticking with it. Well, they're both gone, all right? They out of here. My prediction is dead, all right? I was wrong. I own that. Moving on. I said Detroit bounces back in 5 or 6 games. They wind up winning in 7. But they look significantly better down the stretch. By game 6 and 7, that was an entirely different team, all right? And they took care of Cleveland in game 1 last night. So they're looking pretty good. So I'll take that one. But on the flip side, I did say I saw Cleveland beating Detroit in the series and making it to the conference finals. Kind of shaky on that one now. They're down 1-0 already. I know it's on the road, but that prediction could be in trouble. Another thing I said, OKC cruising to the Western Conference Finals. They cruised in the first round. I don't expect them to lose a game to the Lakers. They are up a 1-0 after they win last night. Hey, it is what it is. All right, so let's knock on this little NBA culture stuff that's going on. You know, this is not a gossip channel, but it's sports. So Jaylen Brown decided to hop on Twitch less than 24 hours after losing Game 7. Called NBA a flopper, said the NBA refs had an agenda. then said that this year was his favorite year as an NBA player. So you know the NBA had to throw that $50,000 fine, let him know, don't be talking about our officiating, even though they suck. Then last night, you had Donovan Mitchell, after losing game one to Detroit, say this: I'm driving, I'm getting hit, but I'm not getting any calls. Maybe I should flop. So you got Jaylen Brown complaining about the refs. You got Donovan Mitchell complaining about the refs. I'm pretty sure Donovan Mitchell might get a fine too, but I digress. This is crazy. Jaylen Brown, this is a bad look. You look like a sore loser, just being honest. All right? Yes, Joel Embiid might be flopping a little bit. I call it selling the call because y'all was hacking. But y'all was up 3-1. You got to own that. Y'all were down by one in game 7 with 5 minutes to go. Y'all shot y'all way out the game. You got to own that. 10 offensive fouls in the series, more than double than anybody else. You got to own that, Jaylen Brown. And then to say that this is your best season after you won NBA Finals and NBA Finals MVP, maybe Jason Tatum don't like hearing that. That the year where he ain't there was your favorite year. Who's to say? But the NBA fining you $50,000 for talking about the trash referees. Look, I don't like it because they do suck. Y'all need to do something about that. Get some younger guys out there or add another referee because these guys can't see. Next topic. Okay, quick sidebar. Draymond Green goes on his podcast and says that Steve Kerr hindered his career as a scorer. Yeah, Steve Kerr. Austin Rivers calls that ridiculous on the Dan Patrick Show. Draymond Green, as he does, clap backs and says, Austin Rivers, man, we averaged the same amount of points in high school. And I say high school because that's when you were at your best. Talk about shots fired. He then said that $42 million you got from the Clippers, yo, that was a bailout by your daddy. I'm not gonna lie, that high school line, one of the coldest lines in NBA beef that I heard in years. Draymond dug in his bag for that one. So Rivers fired back and said, look, Draymond, you the luckiest NBA player in the league. Don't get me wrong. You was good in high school. You was good in college. But in NBA, Steph Curry carried you, fam. Klay Thompson carried you. Kevin Durant, the guy you ran out of town, carried you. Boy, you was a glorified mascot on the court. That's it. Look, I expect Draymond to come back firing, all right? I mean, Austin Rivers poked the bear. This is what happens. And then real quick, we know Clay and Meg, they're done. She ended it, said that he was cheating, said that he didn't want to be monogamous, and she needed a real break. Then you have Gorilla, who's dating Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram said in the interview that, look, she gets on my nerves. And she fired back. He had to walk that comment down the next time he went on that podium. 2 NBA players, 2 rappers, female rappers. Same week, same gossip orbit. Lexi Brown in the WNBA, she even had to deny the Clay allegations. Her name got thrown in the ring. It's been crazy. But to be honest, me and my girlfriend, we had a bet. I said they wouldn't last past the end of the basketball season. Looks like I won that one. So Nick Nurse, the Sixers head coach, found out that his brother Steve had passed away unexpectedly on April 29th, right before Game 6 against the Boston Celtics. He held it together, coached Game 6, won. Flew back to Boston, Game 7, won. That comeback that eliminated the Boston Celtics. Flew to New York, coached Game 1 against the New York Knicks, then flew to Ankeny, Iowa for his brother's funeral, then turned right back around and rejoined his team. Steve Nurse was 62 years old. I just want you to put that timeline into perspective, okay? Game 6, you find out, you coach that game. Game 7, you go on a roll, you coach that game. Game 1, you coach that game. Then you have a funeral. Then you go back to coach some more. You can say whatever you want about Nick Nurse, and plenty of people have a lot to say about this guy. But that right there is a human showing up for his team while life is throwing one of the most painful things it can throw at you. Now that right there deserves to be acknowledged, all right? Look, I lost my mom, all right? One of the hardest things to do is to keep showing up to work after you bury somebody. Don't overlook that. And with that being said, moment of silence. God bless, Nick Nurse. And now that the headlines are out of the way, let's tell you what's actually been going on the basketball court. So here's the entire wrap up of the first round. You had Philadelphia 76ers come back from down 3-1, beat the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are eliminated. Philly moves on to the next round. You have the Pistons. They also came back from down 3-1, beat the Orlando Magic. There was even a game where they were down by 22 at halftime. They said, we're not going out. They came back and won that game. Cavs, Raptors also makes it to a game 7. Cavs go ahead and win that one in game 7 at home. They also advance to the next round. And the Knicks, I told you, this might be over after that rout, and it was. The next game, they were up by 60, okay? And they got Atlanta up out of there. The Knicks on to the next round, and look, they looking really, really good. Out west, OKC, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4. That one has been over since last week, okay? The Lakers, they go ahead and defeat the Rockets. My prediction was 7. Last video, I said that they should win in the 5th game. They took them out in 6. Hey, the Spurs took care of Portland in 5. We already knew that. And Minnesota got Denver up out of there, okay? Look, without Anthony Edwards, without Ayo Dosunmu, okay? Without DiVincenzo, and they said, Denver, go home. You have a complete contrast. The West, super decisive. The East, complete chaos. But I'm here for it. It's great. So let's catch you up on what happened actually last night. So last night you had the second round starting. Detroit was playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Detroit Pistons win 111-100. They lead the series 1-0. Just getting started, all right? Detroit built an 18-point lead. Cleveland mounted an 11-0 run in the fourth quarter to tie it at 93. And then Detroit's late pick and roll execution pretty much just sealed the game. So what went wrong for Cleveland? First off, Jared Allen fouled out in 16 minutes. 2 points, 1 rebound, 4 turnovers. Can't win like that. You lose the paint when your center is that compromised. So Detroit just snapped a 12-game losing streak to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the playoffs, dating all the way back to 2007. Nearly 20-year streak gone in one night. Cunningham, 23 points, 7 assists. Duncan Robinson had 19 points, 5 3-pointers. Dude was hooping. Donovan Mitchell had 23. James Harden had 22. And with that 22, James Harden now moves into 11th place all time in playoff scoring. Kudos to you, my guy. Look, Detroit is looking for real. Cade is having his moment. He's showing, look, I can carry it. It's looking good, but can you keep it up? That's the question. Detroit basketball. All right, so OKC won last night against my Lakers 108-90. They now lead the series 1-0. OKC shot almost 50% from the field. They made 13 3-pointers. It wasn't a blowout all game, but they pretty much controlled the second half. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. Austin Reaves was trash. 3 of 16 shooting. 3 of 16. That's 18%. 18.7 to be exact. I'll round it up. That's 19%. Still trash. With Luka out, Reaves is the number 2 option. Dude was invisible. Didn't see him. He might as well not have even been out there. I posted this on X. Quick side note. Shout out to the Lakers. They actually held SGA under 20 points for the first time. The only bad thing about it is they lost by 18. That's scary. Chet, balling, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. He was a problem. AJ Mitchell filling in for Jalen Williams, 18 big points. He was balling. LeBron did all he could. 27 points on 12 of 17 shooting. I'm talking precision, efficient. Dude still got it. Rui Hachimura, 18 big points as well. When your best player plays as good as LeBron played and you still lose by 18, you are in trouble. And yo, prayers up to Jerry Vanderbilt, man. And he suffered a full dislocation of his pinky. He was going for a block of Chet Holmgren in the second quarter. Nasty. After it happened, he turned to the OKC bench He kind of looked down at it. He opened it up and looked at it, and you can see the entire OKC bench just turn away. They didn't even want to see it. Yeah, he's likely done for the series. I mean, he couldn't shoot before. What is he going to do for his career now? And then Monday night, you had Minnesota versus San Antonio, where Minnesota went into San Antonio and got the dub. They're up 1-0 in their series. Now, Anthony Edwards came back early. He wasn't expected to play until almost game 3 at least. And the dude came back in game 1. Albeit he did come off the bench, but he looked good. That man dropped 18 points, 11 big points in the fourth quarter. That's how you do it. But also in that game, Wembanyama, listen, okay? I'm talking, listen, 12 big blocks. Dude broke the record for blocks in the game. I mean, he tied the record in the third quarter. Guys, this is only his 5th playoff game. And one of them, he left in the second quarter. Only downside to that is that all that defensive prowess led to him only scoring 11 points on the offensive end. 0 for 8 from the three-point line. It really took a lot out of him. The energy trade-off was real. At some point, the Spurs are going to need Wemby on both sides of the ball. All right? And that's what the greats do. And to be honest, and coming back early changed everything in my opinion. Now, let me be clear about this. I had San Antonio losing in the second round. Regardless, I still have that happening, okay? They're just not ready. They're just not experienced. And Wemby doesn't have it put together on both sides of the ball. It's just not his time yet, but it's coming. Quick injury update. Luka Doncic is still out nursing that grade 2 hamstring strain. Now, they have had clips of him shooting the ball around and everything like that, but he doesn't look like he's putting in any real strenuous work, so I wouldn't count on him coming back in this series at all. And that means he's probably done for the season. Jalen Williams from OKC, he's been out for his 3rd straight game, also hamstring strain. Look, but they still won by 18 points without him. Rest up, young G. You got time. Kevin Huerter for Detroit, he's out with a left adductor strain. Look, Detroit still won without him, but they going to need all the bodies they can to beat Cleveland. And as we know, Dante DiVincenzo, he tore his left Achilles last week, and he's out for the season. The Lakers are now missing their best scorer and one of their best defenders. It might just be over for us. Don't forget to drop down in the comment section. What series are you watching? Who you got winning it all? On to the NHL playoffs. All right, playoff hockey. Drop that puck in the comment section, guys. We had some things to say last week. Let's see how they played out. So the LA Kings did get swept. They tried to fight, but they just didn't have enough fight in them. My Kings, look, my condolences, guys. You tried. Look, Colorado, they're a juggernaut. That talent gap was real. Stings a little bit, but ain't no shame to losing to the better team. It is what it is. Last episode, I said I was happy to see the Ducks back on TV. You know what I'm saying? It was good for them. I didn't expect them to win, but they pulled off the upset, beat the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games. During that time, they held McDavid, the best NHL player that's alive right now. They held him scoreless, pointless in 3 games. Like, that's unheard of. Their power play went 8 for 16. And Lukas Dostal, he was complete in the net all series. And that's the thing. You get one goalie get hot, and you have one team disrespect the reputation of another team, and now you have this elite dynasty going home. That's the beauty of it. All right, so first round. Carolina swept Ottawa 4 games. Frederick Anderson was a wall. Flyers knocked out Pittsburgh in 6 games. Sidney Crosby tried to bring them back. They won 2 in a row after they were down 3-0. Couldn't do it anymore. Samuel Ersson stood on his head. Buffalo eliminated Boston in 6. And Minnesota ended an 11-year playoff drought, and they took out Dallas in 6 games. I was hoping that went to 7. We didn't get it. Shout out to Minnesota. And another upset, Montreal takes down Tampa Bay in 7 games. Game 7 on the road. And Vegas, after being down 2-1, they stopped playing with their food. They beat Utah 4-2. That series is done. On to the second round. Buffalo versus Montreal. Game 1 is tonight. So don't get me wrong, Buffalo does have the advantage, but Montreal just won Game 7 on the road in Tampa. Momentum is real. Colorado versus Minnesota. Last night, Colorado won again, 5-2. They are now up 2-0 in this series. Nathan McKinnon, 1 goal, 2 assists. Kale May Carr, 2 power play assists. Look, Joel Eriksson Ek, Minnesota's top center, he's been out for 2 straight games. And Jonas Broden, their top defensive man, he's also been out. Minnesota is shorthanded against the wrong team. Vegas versus Anaheim. Vegas is up 1-0. Game 2 is tonight. Ducks did upset Edmonton, but now they're facing Vegas and Jack Eichel at full speed. Now, I'm not counting Anaheim out after what they did to Edmonton, but Vegas, this team was built for the playoffs. This team right here, this team is ready. Tonight's going to tell me a lot. And we got 2 teams that are undefeated in the playoffs, Carolina and Colorado. Dude, they are both 6-0. Do you hear me? 6-0. 12 wins, 0 losses. Look, that's not a hot streak. That's dominance. If these 2 meet in the Stanley Cup, man, this might be some of the best hockey we've seen in years. And I'm ready for it. Drop your Stanley Cup predictions in the comments. Who you got winning? On the baseball. All right, so the biggest story coming out of baseball right now is that Tariq Skubal, 2-time defending AL Cy Young winner, yeah, he went out with an injury. He felt something in his elbow April 29th. They scheduled surgery on Monday to remove loose bodies from that elbow. But there's a kicker to the story. Tariq Skubal is supposed to be a free agent at the end of the season. He was supposed to break the record. Yamamoto's 12 years, $325 million. He's actually expected to blow that out of the water. I mean, he is one of the best pitchers, the best pitcher in baseball right now. Some projections had him over $400 million. Now, his recovery is supposed to be 2 to 3 months, but it's what he looks like after he comes back. Maybe the difference between $250 million and $450 million. That's a $200 million elbow surgery. Also, the Tigers have Verlander, Mize, Olsen, and Holbay all on the injury list. Look, their pitching rotation is in shambles. Kind of like my life right now. Other injuries, Roman Anthony from Boston Red Sox, the rookie outfielder, out with a wrist injury after a check swing. Emilio Pagan, the Reds reliever, dude went out there in the 9th inning last night's game. 1 pitch, threw a ball, out of there. Baseball is cruel sometimes, man. All right, baseball. Who's hot? Who's not? League leaders in wins, Braves, 26. Yankees, 25. Cubs, 24. Tampa Bay Rays, 23. And then the Los Angeles Dodgers rounded out with 22 wins. The Braves have the best record in baseball. They're 26-11. They won last night, 3-2 versus Seattle. They're still rolling. Ben Rice of the Yankees, this dude leads all of baseball with a 1.214 OPS. Dude's out slugging Aaron Judge. 12th round pick in 2021. This guy's the hottest hitter in baseball. The Dodgers are sliding. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Ohtani gave up his first home run last night, but he still has an ERA of 0.6. Ohtani, the hitter, is in a slump. He's 0 for his last 14 at bats. So Ohtani does this. He has times where he's a great pitcher and a horrible hitter, and he has times where he's a great hitter and a horrible pitcher. When he puts them together at one time, it's absolutely the best thing in baseball to watch. It's just not happening right now. NL Central. Last episode, I had to shout out the Reds for still controlling their division, even though the Cubs had won 10 games in a row. They had stayed consistent. That's not the case anymore. The Cubs, since then, have then won 7 more in a row. They beat the Reds last night. They beat them 3 in a row. And now the Cubs lead that division. The Cubs, they have one of the best point differentials in the MLB right now, which tells you that they should be really running away with the division. But the Cardinals and the Reds have kept a lot of games close, and they've won a lot of close games. So even though their point differential doesn't say it, this division should be a fight all season long. Cubs have the talent, but the MLB season is a marathon. And you got to give the Reds and the Cardinals credit, man. They stay consistent, even though Chicago has been on a heater. Kansas City Royals Look, last episode I had to give them a shout out because even though they had a bad record, they had won 4 straight games. They lost one since then, and then they won 5 in a row. Shout out to them. They getting it together. They turning around. They beat Cleveland last night, 5-3. Michael Massey with a go-ahead 2-run home run. Them boys is getting it done. Got to give them credit. Tampa Bay Rays. Look, they've won 9 of their last 10 games. And this is why. They're playing pure small ball while everybody else is swinging for the fences. They have an MLB leading 13 sacrifice bunts and 36 stolen bases. And their rotation has allowed less than 3 runs in 12 straight games. Shane McClanahan, back from Tommy John, 2 years. He's pitching like a dog. Drew Rasmussen, 2.64 ERA. Nobody picked these guys. They're 22-12. That's culture. Selfless baseball. No ego at the plate. Even in May, that's worth paying attention to. Rangers, still not it. The Rangers are cooked. Moving on. Oh, Boston. They fired Cora and everybody else, and they've been 6-4 since. Also, the Phillies fired Rob Thompson. They are 7-1 since they made that move. They beat the Athletics 9-1 last night. Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs. Christopher Sanchez struck out 10. They balling. They hooping. 2 managers fired within a week of each other, and both of these teams are responding. Sometimes the front office makes the right call. Spot on this one. On to the NFL. NFL offseason. Nothing is happening and everything is happening. You know how this goes. All right, we're going to start this off down in Houston, all right, because that's where I'm located. Now, I was born in California, moved to Houston when I was 12 years old, so I rep California. Now, I literally wear it on my sleeve. No joke, all right? I show love to Houston because, look, I've been here 20 plus years, unless they play in my team. Other than that, I root for them. I like to see them successful. So let's dive into the Houston Texans because what just happened with them says a lot about their future. So the Texans went ahead and exercised the 5th-year option on CJ Stroud, $25.9 million in 2027. So what that means is there's no extension talks yet. That turns this year into an official prove-it year. Now, he's made the playoffs 3 straight years. Never been done in franchise history. But last year, the divisional against New England Patriots, 4 interception, that must have left a sour taste in that front office's mouth. He came out and broke his social media silence on May 2nd. Change is inevitable. Growth is intentional. Really, dude? But Texas revamped their O-line. They traded away Titus Howard, and then they brought in Braden Smith and Wyatt Teller. And they traded up to get that guard in the first round. If the line protects him and he plays clean football, I can see him getting that money. But if the same issues show up in big moments, then this front office is going to have some uncomfortable conversations. It just is what it is. Houston Texans fans, y'all riding with Stroud? Or y'all nervous? Let me know. All right, on to my Niners. So let's recap real quick. So the 49ers traded back in the first round twice. And with the 33rd pick, first pick in the second round, they picked wide receiver, Ole Miss, Dejon Striblin. Now, most people had him as a 3rd or 4th round talent. They took him at the top of the second. Then they drafted a 3rd round running back again. Now, Grant Cohn, the 49ers pessimist, he said this was the worst draft in the NFL. David Lombardi, San Francisco Standard, he went the complete opposite direction. He said that draft grades are premature, and he pointed to Brock Purdy as a prime example. And he's not wrong. John Lynch, when he was pressed about this situation at the podium, we've got a consensus in this building, and that's the consensus I care about. Okay, John Lynch. Both guys have a point, and that's what makes this interesting. Lombardi is right. You can't really grade the draft until later. Like I said in the last video, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. But Cohn is right as well. This right here is a pattern. 3rd round running backs that never work out. Drafting wide receivers that can block better than they can catch. You don't get defensive at the podium when you're confident. You stand on it. Look, so whose side am I on? Where am I leaning? While Lombardi has some great points, And he can point to, it doesn't matter where you take the guy and their relative athletic score. They took a whole bunch of projects, okay? None of these guys have really solidified that they were great college players. They're good athletically, but they're not great college players that can come in and fill positions that the 49ers need right away. And while I love Lombardi and I love the optimism that he brings to the 49ers fans, he never really makes you feel like you're out of it until you're out of it. I love that about him. But I'm a realist when it comes to sports. So I'm going to have to ride with Grant Cohn on this one. Look, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Shanahan's doing the same thing over and over again. Reaching, third round running backs, drafting blocking wide receivers. He didn't take a tight end in this draft. He didn't take an offensive guard or offensive tackle early. And I have to give him credit because he said, hey, you guys don't know the conversations that go on behind closed doors. You might have heard, yeah, he's going to be third or fourth round, but we heard he might go 40 or 50. So we snagged him at 33. And you might be right. But why not just take a guy that fell to you at 33, keep your other second round pick, and then if Dijon fell to you, then take him there? That's the smart thing to do. That's what GMs and coaches that really know how to win, that's what they do. Or you could have took your 27th pick in the first round and traded up to get a true talent. As we knew that this draft was void of depth, we knew that people had to move up to get the guys that they wanted because the guys at the back end weren't going to be as good. I love the 49ers. I love them. But I hate this regime. I can't say I understand what they're doing. They ride on the fact that they've gotten to the Super Bowl twice, but you haven't won it. Okay. And for a team, for an organization that has 5 rings and that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. 30 years. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. You fire a guy like Harbaugh because he couldn't win the big game. And you hire a guy like Shanahan that is an exact replica of him. What's the end goal? I don't understand how you get from what you guys are doing to a Super Bowl championship unless you just get super lucky and everything breaks your way one year. Are they talented? Yes. But they don't build the way they should build. Yeah, that's that. In other news, the 49ers did open up $71.8 million in cap space because they restructured Trent Williams' contract. They brought his number from 46 down to 20 million. That's pretty good. Also, Cal Van Noy, he sees something that I don't. He says he likes what the 49ers are doing. He wants to come over there and play with Fred Warner and because they have a BYU connection, right? I say, look, he's going to be a 1-year cheap veteran to come over to rush the passer on third down. It is what it is. We sign him, we don't sign him. It doesn't make me any difference. But obviously, he's an NFL player. So maybe he sees something I don't. Maybe that's a good sign. And then one more thing. The 49ers went ahead and gave Dejon Stribling number 15. Look, Jawan Jennings is in free agency. He hasn't even got his new contract yet. And y'all already gave his number away. So that means him returning, that window is closed. I don't know what this Dejon Stribling guy is going to do. He might be the next Jerry Rice or T.O. for the 49ers. And I don't know it yet because I really don't watch college football as much as I used to. But I do know this. Shanahan hasn't drafted a top tier wide receiver since he's been there. You can't name one guy that he's drafted as a wide receiver or even a running back, drafted, mind you, where you say that guy is a top 5, top 10 guy at his position. He doesn't draft well, and I don't trust him. So, 49er faithful, how do you feel about him? Drop it down in the comment section. Let me know. We on to the next. A little quick hitters for NFL. Stefon Diggs was found not guilty on his assault charges against his personal chef. For the moment, those legal clouds are clear. He's a free agent. Let's see where he lands. Patrick Mahomes. The Chief GM say he's way ahead of schedule on his ACL recovery from week 15. Also, Micah Parsons with the Packers. They say that he should be returning early next season. Now, early next season could be week 2 or 3. It could be week 5 or 6. We don't know. We'll see. But they did say early. And last but not least, it looks like we're going to, dodge that Fail Mary. The NFL and the Referee Association looks like they're going to go ahead and come to an agreement on the new CBA. The ratification votes are this week. Congratulations to getting that done, because we didn't want to see that. No replacement refs. Nah. We didn't want that. And just like that, we're done with the NFL. On the tennis. So I told y'all last time, look out for Hudar, right? But I did say that he probably wouldn't play center that well. I said he wasn't ready for that. And I was right. He wasn't. He did play the second set pretty tough, took him to a tiebreaker, but he did lose in the tiebreaker 7-0. He didn't score a point. So, look, I told you guys, look out for him. He went from 168 up to 34th ranking in just Madrid. So, look out for that. Yannick Sinner went on to kind of, do what he does. He played Artur Fils, and he beat him. Then he goes on to destroy Zverev 6-1, 6-2 in 57 minutes in the finals. 57 minutes, okay? The dude's a monster. With that win, he now has his 5th consecutive Master 1000 title. 5 in a row. First player in history to do that since 1990. 21 match winning streak. Sheesh. He's done all this, and Roland Garros hasn't even started yet. On the women's side, after Baptiste did get that win in Sabalenka, she wound up taking the L. She lost in the semis to Kostyuk, but she did go on to win the whole thing. So at least she lost to the eventual winner. She came in as the 26th seed, and she went ahead and beat Mira Andreeva in the finals, straight sets. She hasn't lost on clay all year. I wanted to see Baptiste do something, but she just ran into a woman that's on a whole nother level right now playing tennis. I got to give Marta her flowers. Kudos to you. Championship run. And last but not least, we have a kind of gripe right now in tennis. So your top players, Sinner, Sabalenka, Alcaraz, Swiatek, and Zverev, they've all signed a letter demanding more money from Roland Garros. The player share dropped from 15.5% in 2024 to under 15% this year. The target that they're looking for, 22%. Now, the players aren't wrong. Roland Garros posts record revenue numbers every year. And the people that are filling those seats are getting a smaller piece. You see this in every sport. When the 2 best players in the sport put their name on a letter, that's not a fringe complaint. Who you got winning Roland Garros? We all know. You think Santa's gonna do it? I do. If you want more tennis every week, drop a racket. Let me know. All right, and that's the week. So let me bring it home. All right, this week in sports in 60 seconds. Let's go. Philly came back from 3-1 and eliminated the Celtics. My final picks are dead. I own it. Wemby dropped 12 blocks on Monday night and still lost the game by 2 points. Detroit beat Cleveland, and OKC beat the Lakers by 18 points last night. Vanderbilt is likely done for the series. Lakers are in trouble. Carolina and Colorado are both 6-0 in the NHL playoffs, both undefeated. Circle those two. Tariq Skubal is having elbow surgery. Best pitcher in baseball, $200 million elbow. Cubs on a 7-game winning streak. Nobody saw that coming. Atlanta Braves still hot. The Yankees still hot. Dodgers sliding just a bit. Stroud's prove-it year starts now. The 49ers already gave Jennings' number away to Striblin. Center won Madrid, 5 straight Master 1000. And Nick Nurse coached Game 6, 7, and Game 1 while burying his brother. That's the story of the week. Give that man some respect. That's what Just Your Average Podcast is. You didn't watch? I got you. You were working? I got you. You were asleep by 8. I got you. Every Wednesday, same place, same time. 3 episodes in, and I'm feeling the love, guys. Man, if you got something out of this, like, subscribe, drop a comment, share with somebody that needs this. Every single share matters. I don't take it for granted. Back next Wednesday with everything from this week. Stay up, stay locked in. I got you.